You have been holed up in your gloomy heart, a purposeless pit with sleep and death as watchmen, failing in the night of your life. Step out. You need sunshine to feed your melanin and see the elegance of life. Find your alchemist to touch your heart such that breathing becomes reflexive again and oxygen taste of life again. And then again, when capping minds move their pointing fingers to inscribe obscenities on your grimy windows, look for the one who'll clean the windows. You'll clearly see them from the inside. That one is the one. A new prescription by Tikamai Chando. May is Mental Awareness Month, and this is my reminder to you to take the time to take care of this beautiful faculty of our ears, to take the time to heal, to take the time to clean it. Let's go of those limiting beliefs. Let's go of those stories that you're telling yourself that are negative. Take care of number one, and you'll be able to take care of all the people around you. Hi, my name is Omeno Michelle, and welcome back to my channel. So, given that May is Mental Health Month, I thought it was just the perfect time to share books that focus not necessarily solely on the mental health, but have characters that depict mental health and its challenges, its awareness, its process of healing. And the first book, I know you know that the first book it's kind of a funny story. People are going to Italy. Bye. It's kind of a funny story. Follows Greg, who is determined to succeed in life, which means getting into the right school and then into the right college and then finding the right job. But once this young gentleman enters this executive school in Manhattan, the pressure becomes too unbearable. He stops eating, he stops sleeping, he stops actually connecting with his friends in a way that was much deeper than before. And then one night he contemplates taking his life. But something in him was like, no, you cannot die, it's not yet your time. So he calls this suicide hotline and they encourage him to check in into a hospital. At that time, the children's section of the psychiatry hospital is under renovation, so he ends up in the adult ward. He encounters different people from different walks of life. He encounters different people from different walks of life who are experiencing their own kind of mental challenges, and from then on is on a journey to heal, to find out what exactly made him want to actually kill himself, what exactly made him forget the joys in life, what exactly made him feel like you have to really go to the elite places to have a fulfilling life. And from then on we see him come out of his shell, shed of some of these limiting beliefs, and in the end he ends up coming out of the psychiatry better than he came in, more in charge of his life. And it was just beautiful. The writing style is beautiful. I found it fast paced, and for a heavy topic I expected it to like drown me, but it was funny. It was funny and it was enlightening. I had an enjoyable time with it. Next set of books that I felt like the author depicted a detailed and informative mental aspect of this character is the Millennial series. I'm saying series because now there are more than 3 books in the trilogy. The next set is by David Lagerkratz, and then there will be a 7th book in August by one Kate Smirnoff. So these books follow our main character Elizabeth Salander, who had a harrowing, nightmarish childhood, all because of one crazy, diabolical parents. Authors both showcase how our girl Salander became how she is, openly, honestly, without leaving any gory detail out of it. And I really appreciated that they depicted her mental health and character growth in a way that makes you realize that your background, your family, your environment impacts your mental health. And as much as Salanda had it rough, she was determined to heal in a way that for us it's kind of weird, but to her it makes sense. And she never gave up in life. She has this other streak that you get on a bad books and you'll face the music. But this just shows that you can help yourself. It doesn't matter what other people say and think about you. What really matters is what you think about yourself. And Salanda is determined to not let what other people think about her deter her from achieving what she wants to achieve. So yeah, I am a diehard fan of this series. I can't wait to read what is this? The fifth one. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how much I've changed. The next book is a man called Uwe. Uwe is this strict, grumpy man. And if you didn't know better, you will find him so rude, so bitter, so intolerable. And I know some people have put the book down because the first chapters is quite unlovable from my point of view. But the more you go deeper, you realize why he is the way he is. And Bachman does talk about suicide, does talk about depression, and Bachman really takes us deeper into Uwe's past and shows us what led him here. It's beautiful, it's raw. I'm still, up to this day, I'm still reeling from that ending. We had a false start and I was like, oh my god, oh my god. And then it turned out to be something else, and then the ending broke me again. But it was a beautiful story. It also shows the impact of a community and how they might help you through a tough time, which I found really, 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 really enjoyable. And the neighbors were just these lovable characters that Uwe couldn't stand, but later on accepted them and made his life more joyous and, gave him the urge to live on more. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. The next book, I really, really love this book because it has opened avenues to talk about the political scene in Kenya, among other things. And like there's something she depicted about our policemen that fits the topic of this video, and that book is The Havoc of Choice by Wanjiru Koinange. This book uses a single household to depict the effects of corruption, colonization, and politics. The story follows Kavata. Kavata comes from a political family. The father is an MP, and Kavata has seen the negative impact of politics on a family, and she is determined to take a different trajectory as opposed to the parents. Lo and behold, he ends up with a husband that dips his toes into politics, but things don't go as he expected it. Kavata, seeing that things are not going as she had expected, takes leave, and during that process, our country also falls into shambles. So in the process of trying to return back home, a lot of harrowing things happen, and there's violence, there's death, and in the process, Wanjiru Koinange makes commentary on the state of our police. There was a time that there was quite a number of cases, real life cases, about police committing suicide, killing their lovers, killing other people. And I felt like that what she said in this book, that our police see so much crazy, diabolical things and they don't take the time to heal. They are not systems that ensure that these people go through a process that will help them heal from what they see. That I feel that this fits this topic. And I was like, yeah, we need to take better care of our police. We need to ensure that there is a system where they have access to mental health facilities, as well as, increasing their salary. And not only that, the people who are affected by these clashes, these skirmishes, that they have nowhere to turn to, to talk about what happened, to heal, to let go. This book is heavy. I loved this book. I timidly say I love this book because it opens up so much to talk about, because as Kenyans, we have so much work to do. Sometimes I feel like maybe somehow we have healed, but really, are we healed? I feel like we brushed this whatever happened under the rug. Schools will never talk about what happened. It's not in our textbooks. We're not talking about this. We're not. And last year, before the elections ensued, there were some documentaries about people who are affected by this mentally, physically, and they were like, we didn't have some place to go and talk about what happened to us. And I believe there's some people who still live in camps. This is so sad. And that's why I feel this book cuts it, makes it mark into this video. The next set of books, I will not try to explain this world. It is fantastical. Me explaining fantasy is like me explaining rocket science. I don't want to look like a crazy person. But the next set of books is The Way of Kings and Words of Radiant by Brandon Sanderson. I bow down to this man. He knows what he's doing. Wow! The first time I read this book, it was huge. This was my first time reading a 1,300-page book, and I was like, can we get with it and move on with life? But I didn't know that it would make such an impact in my life. The reason why these books cut it to this video is that it depicts especially two characters who have gone through some crazy stuff that begins at, for one, it begins at home, and the other, it begins when he became a warrior, then he was betrayed, and then he was given the mark of a slave. So in the process, they become part of this entourage during war. You see, I'm fumbling. The first character is Kalandin. If you have read this book, you know what I'm referring to. He was a very phenomenal warrior. When it began, he was working towards being a surgeon. These are people who are really high regarded in this world. But things took a turn. His brother, due to some evil machinations, was enrolled to be part of this army, and in the process, Kalandin, who wanted to protect his brother, also joined the army. But things didn't go as he planned. The brother died, and then he was betrayed and given the mark of a slave, sold to another army, and there they became people who were carrying bridges, very dispensable, very much dispensable. And at that time, he was questioning what his life has turned into. Did he deserve this? He believed so much in his leader, and yet he betrayed him. He contemplated suicide. You could actually feel these negative vibes that he was feeling. Sanderson shows us his mental process in a delicate yet unapologetic way. I know for some people found it a bit, because he was going back and forth. I want to leave, and then at some point he's like, I want to die. And I kind of feel that some people found this unnerving, but that's just how life is. One time you want to off yourself because you feel that you can't take more of it, but then something comes and sparks you and you're like, oh, I want to leave, then something, until you break that cycle. And I felt like he did Kalandin justice and really, really depicted mental health and how, your environment and external condition affects your mental health. The next character that was well depicted, and that happened in book 2, because in book 1 I ended up not liking Shalan. I was like, why is this character in this book? But in book 2, The Words of Radiance, I really came to appreciate and be in awe of Shalan, because he came from a household where my father was very abusive. The things that she has gone through. And then she was like the only light of hope in their family, because others were also given up. Some were ready to even kill themselves because they could not stand their father. The father was this selfish, brutal man that just wanted things to go his way. And funny enough, he would never, never, never touch Shalan. But the brothers were the one who got beaten. The mother-in-law was the one who got beaten, the servants. So Shalan had to be up to her best behavior so that her whatever she does doesn't impact those people who are around her. But she was determined to make it in life. She was determined to uplift the family and make changes. But in the end, she had to do things that broke her as a human being. And the fact that she remained standing, she didn't kill herself, is just profound. It's just profound. And when you read this book, you understand why she does what she does in book 1. I will not say much about it because I will be giving out spoilers for people who want to read this book. But I feel like Brandon Sanderson really represents mental health very beautiful. Even the first trilogy in the what is this, Mistborn trilogy has some representation of mental health. And I can see why people love this man, because I want to read all of his books. And I can't wait to start reading Oathbringer. I can't wait. The next book that I read is poetry. I think this was the first time actually encountering somebody talking about mental health, suicide and depression out and openly. Yeah. And that book was Cages with Built by Kendi Karemi. The book is divided into 3 parts. The first one is Rebellion, if I'm not wrong. The first section of the poetry collection is Rebellion. And then it is followed by the Freedom, and then by Freedom, and then War. Now War goes in to show, the wars that happen over here. And she is very raw and candid about what she felt. And there's a poem she wrote to depression that I feel like I should share. It says, "Dear Depression, thank you for so uninvitedly stomping your way through my yard. Thank you for the mud, the tears, and the thuds. Thank you for the snot, the spit, and the blood. Thank you for the mess, because without it, I will neither have this book nor feel my face warm with happiness again. After the grass has been stomped on and dried, the only thing it can do is grow again. I sprout dandelions and lilies, yellows and pinks, only because once I sprouted not. I dedicate this book to you. See who you have made me become. See how much I love and fall and get back up again. There are seeds waiting to grow on everyone's yard. A little stomping per usual is a necessity, sometimes a lot. But remember, the seeds laid there waiting to sprout into hues never thought would color your life." And it just shows you that sometimes these are just part of life. Question is, will you continue the cycle, or will you break it and heal and grow? Yes, sometimes you again fall back in, as she is depicted in the message to depression. But so long as you don't give up, so long as you don't give in, you got this. And I really, 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 I was like, wow. She vividly portrays what it feels like to want to kill yourself. I was like, yeah, that made sense, and it was relatable. And I was like, I really appreciate you for taking the courage to share your journey with us, because that gives us hope for those people who are going through something mentally. Yeah, the cages we've built, I hope we will break them and fly. Still, we rise. Yeah. The next book, which I haven't read, so I cannot say this and that, but I've heard so many things about it. I prepared my mind for so long, and I wanted to read it in May, in the spirit of mental health awareness. And that book is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This is what it says. Esther Greenwood, brilliant, beautiful, enormously talented and successful, but slowly going under, maybe for the last time. Sylvia Plath masterfully draws the reader into Esther's breakdown with such intensity that Esther's insanity becomes completely real, even rational, as probable and accessible an experience as going to the movies. Yeah, that's all I know about it. I know it's about some lady breaking down, and I'm really looking forward to it. So if you weren't aware about the Bell Jar, yeah, this is another mental health representation book. Yeah. The next book that I really enjoyed was from an actor that I really love. He was in The Good Wife, but wasn't one of the main characters, but I really enjoyed him. He was playing Eli Gold, if I'm not wrong, campaign manager for some senator at that time. He has also acted one of the main characters in Instinct, a TV show that was adapted from James Patterson book The Instinct, and he was a professor. Yeah. And that guy is Alan Cumming, and this is the story, Not My Father's Son. In this story, we get to see, I would love to say in real life, because this was his life, the effects our parents have on our lives. And Cumming is so funny, even during the deep, sad parts, and he is very sincere about how it felt and how it was. He describes this violent outburst his father used to show, and you feel like you're really there with him, you really feel him. And what let me just read a bit of the blurb. Alan grew up in a grip of a man who held his family hostage, someone who meted out violence with a frightening ease, who waged a silent war with himself that sometimes spilled over onto everyone around him. The man was Alex Cumming, Alan's father, whom Alan had not seen or spoken to for more than a decade when he reconnected just before filming For Who Do You Think You Are began. He had a secret to share, one that would shock his son to his very core and set into motion a journey that will change Alan's life forever. It reached a point in time during Alan's adulthood, he could not function well because he didn't take the time to deal with what had happened to him in the past. It affected him so much that his marriage fell apart. It affected him so much that his career was taking a bit of a dent, and he said enough is enough, I need to deal with it. And filming of these TV shows, which Alan embarked on to discover who the maternal grandfather was, is the thing that spurred him on to, take this journey of healing. And in the end, Alan came out shining and free and is enjoying his life. So please take the time to heal. Take the time to heal. The next book is a memoir, as our previous book. The reason why it made the cut into this list is because this child went through so much, and the fact that right now he is standing, that right now he's thriving, that right now he's telling the story of what he went through. It's just beautiful and profound. I was reading this book, I was like, if this was me, I swear, God forbid, I would have ended my life, because the shit that they did in this book is just what? And these were kids. What? I was like, what? Another book is A Long Way Gone by Ishmael Bear. I love this book. The writing style is mwah, it's so beautiful. It is immersive. It is fast-paced. For a heavy book, you think that it will take ages to finish it, but actually you want to know what happens next. And in this book, you get to see the effects of war. For those people who are like, see, we need a revolution. You do not know what war means. You do not know who actually faced much of the brunt of war, which is women and children, and you can see it in this book. These children ended up killing other people. 12-year-olds carrying guns and machetes. Do you know what that does to someone's mind? I have never done such a thing, but I can just imagine how it can take you to the brink of being crazy. These kids were fed drugs. These kids saw their families killed. These kids, my God. I was like, I give you deep respect for coming out of this, getting out of drugs, forgiving yourself, and trying to not necessarily erase, but come to peace with what you did. I find this man strong and empowering and motivating, and the courage to stand up and tell his story without... I can't say that he wasn't afraid that people will come for him or, boo him or stigmatize him, but I applaud him for the courage to share his story. This is a story of hope, resilience, persistence, faith, healing, love. If he went through what he went through and come out in the end standing strong, you too can get through whatever you're going through mentally. And I hope you take the courage and the faith and the love and the patience and the persistence to go through what you're going through and come out strong. Yes, baby, yes. The next books not necessarily dealt with mental health as in to a T, but I felt like the much that they showed us about mental health makes a mark on this video. And the first book is The Bone Collector by Jeffrey Deaver. This is a thriller. Our main character is a quadriplegic, and in this first book, it's the first book in the Lincoln Rhyme series. Profound. This man, Lincoln Rhyme, has a brilliant, magnificent mind that I want to steal and make it my own. But when the book begins, you see him coming to terms with being quadriplegic, because he was not quadriplegic when he started life. He was a fully able, two-limbed walking man. A man who was walking on his 2 feet. And so he comes into terms with the fact that he is immobile. He can't even move his hand. The only thing that he can move is this pinky. So it's like, this is not a way to live, And you see the way Diva goes in deep to show us, how this change in life is really affecting him to the point that he wants to take his life. But in the end, should I say in the end? No, I would spoil for those who want to read this. But if you watch the series, but actually the series doesn't talk much about his mental health, That's the thing about books to TV adaptation. There's something that's left out. So when you read this book, you get to see what I'm trying to say. You get to see how his mental health is really affected by the change in his mode of transport. So yeah, that's why it's a bonus. And the next 2 bonus books, which are non-fiction, are Wild by Charlotte Strayed and Eat, Pray and Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. The reason why I feel that this book also make it a cut in this video is that for Charlotte Strayed, she was 22, divorced, had lost her mom, who was like her best friend. Things were not going well also in her career. So she decided to take a journey through the Appalachian Trail. as a way to deal with all that's going through her mind, you know, as a way to reconnect with nature, you know, as a way to challenge herself that she can make it through life. And throughout the story, you can see how her experiences really affected her, and you can see her journey from this person who felt like there's no more point in living, and that point of I feel so alive, I can do anything, I want to live. And it was another beautiful story. It was quite fun and interesting, you know. She had these hurdles that made her want to quit the trail. She was inexperienced, mind you, so you can see why overcoming these challenges during the journey helped her mentally. For Eat, Pray, Love, the book started while Elizabeth was going through a breakdown. I had quite a bit of a challenge because I was like, what the shit is going on? It was confusing. It was exactly what she was going through. I love when authors does that. I know another book that did the same thing. I was like, wow, you make us feel like the way she was feeling, and you can see her journey, her spiritual journey that really helped her get over a broken marriage, divorce, depression, and the spiritual part was quite profound because your spiritual, you know, also plays a factor in your mental health, and that's why I feel like this book should be part of this video. So all in all, I hope I made sense. I hope this encouraged someone to keep on going. I hope also this will make you prioritize your mental health, because everything is affected by your mental health. Your mental health spills over your environment. So I hope you will take the time. Take the time, please. Oh, please, oh, please, oh. We need you in this life to heal, to cleanse your mind, to filter out what you accept from the society. With that, if there's a book that has mental health representation, please feel free to recommend it on my comment section below. And with that, I hope you get to read more books that will give you more pleasure to take off the pressure of life. And until my next video, bye.